Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lesson 2 on AI, Responsible AI Use. The first thing that I wanted to discuss are some ethical considerations that we must all have when it comes to AI use in the classroom. Number one would be, how do we use it ethically? We don't want our students to cheat with it. But the big questions there is what is considered cheating? In my opinion, you shouldn't let AI do the work for your students, but instead use AI to empower students to enhance their learning. I'll give you some ideas later on how to do that, but you will notice that a lot of schools in Utah use one of the following tools: Magic School, School AI, Skillstruck, Scribbled, Adobe, and pretty much every tool that we talked about in my class, in the media class, is somehow um, like using certain AI features. So this is not going away. It's everywhere right now. Um, and we have to find a way to use it ethically, right? To empower learning. Number two is transparency. You need to teach your students to cite or give credit every time they use an AI tool. So, for instance, I used ChatGPT to generate this list for today, but I also used critical thinking to go through the list, change it, and adjust it for what is needed for teachers in teaching. So, when you're transparent like that, that is definitely a better use of uh, more ethical, right, than not mentioning it. The third consideration is data privacy and security. You want to make sure that your student data is private and secure. So you have to go through the legal team in your school or in your district to make sure that the tool is approved, that they are using student data in an ethical manner. So you have to do your due diligence, or you have to make sure that the technology specialists in your school or your district do the due diligence. And sometimes that means that you have to give parents the opportunity to consent to you using this tool. And finally, you need to be aware of bias and fairness. A lot of tools will have something called algorithmic bias, which means that the tool will give you an output depending on the input. So if the tool was fed oranges and you ask it for a write-up, the write-up will be about oranges. It will never be about apples. That's very important to consider. Uh, and look for those patterns to make sure that the tool you're using is, well, it's never going to be free of bias and absolutely fair, but at least that they are trying and working on it. So we have to evaluate the tools regularly. A great book that I really want to recommend, you can see on the right side of the slide, and it was written by Holly Clark, and it's called The AI Infused Classroom. It really gave me a lot of inspiring ideas on how to use AI in the classroom. So if you have a chance to read it, I really wholeheartedly recommend it. But one thing that Holly says is that we have to be aware that AI presents us with a huge scale shift in education. And with it, students' needs are changing. So one question that we have to ask ourselves is, will this be a required skill for a job search? And with that, the responsibility to teach the skill, right? We can't just ignore that this is now, because I even see my husband, like he's already using AI. They had meetings about it at work, and they're using two different AI tools to, help with busy work. Traditional teaching methods, therefore, may be challenged and changed. So we have to equip ourselves. Okay, so what are some ways how we can use AI? Like I said before, don't have it do the work for the students. And a lot of tools that are made for schools actually don't even give you that option. But instead, use tools to help students brainstorm, expand vocabulary, proofread grammar, clarity, provide translations in different languages, provide research support, differentiation, feedback. All of those are really great skills. And don't forget that AI tools are never a substitute for critical thinking. Um, they're never a substitute for a teacher. They are just tools that can help us or not, depending on how we use them. So last comment that I had is to secure that this is happening, first, use tools that are approved by the district, but two, also find ways to have students document their learning along the way. So there are all sorts of tools that you can use to document learning. But you can also, ask students to record themselves and talk about their process. You can ask the students to collaborate with each other. Um, they can make timelines, visual representations, videos, podcasts, anything that helps them prove that they really participated in their own learning. That's all I had for today. Thank you for listening.